We can quickly settle down. Council Secretary and your team, you are welcome to your committee on local government accounts. And before we start, as per tradition, we would like to extend Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia. That gives immunity to members of parliament when they sit in parliament and in committees like this one. They are protected, and the same Cap 12, which is extended to you, that equally, whatever you say before this committee, Council Secretary and your team, shall not be used against you in the courts of laws, or cannot be used against you in the court of laws, and also outside this meeting. Meaning that if you deliberately choose to mislead this committee, the same Cap 12 can be used against you. It is my belief on behalf of this committee that you are going to share factual information that is going to help this committee come up with a good report that we are going to present before the main house. With that said, KAPUTA Council, I would like to ask you to introduce yourselves individually.
Thank you so much, Chair. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members. My name is Kuyokwa Emias. I'm the Council Secretary for KAPUTA Town Council. Of course, Chair, I'm not alone. I'm accompanied by officers who may be able to introduce themselves.
Okay, whichever order, introduce yourself, your name and position.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members of the committee. Good morning, permanent witnesses. My name is Stephen Sakala, Director, Engineering Services.
Thank you, Director.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Friday Super. I'm the Acting Director, Planning.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Luke Sinkara, the Director, Finance, KAPUTA Town Council.
Thank you. These are flexible ones. Instead of straining yourselves, you can put them closer to your mouths.
Good morning, Chair.
Switch on the middle there. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, Chair. My name is Kenny Muswanda. I'm the Procurement Officer for KAPUTA Town Council.
Thank you. Muswanda, you can switch off. You're the same. Yeah. Those behind can go where the commission official is.
Good morning, Honorable Chair. Good morning, honorable members. Good morning, permanent witnesses. My name is Bernard Mtale. I'm Assistant Procurement Officer for KAPUTA.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mofia Choshi. I'm the Internal Auditor.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone. I'm Daka Everson, Chief Accountant.
Thank you. Permanent witnesses.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, honorable members of the committee. My name is Sira Nyirenda, Director, in charge of Northern Province, Office of the Auditor General. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Yes, officers behind there.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair. My name is Emmanuel Nyalazi, Principal Auditor from Office of the Auditor General. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Abednego Siluyele, Principal Auditor in the Office of the Auditor General in Kasama.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Lovinda Sinyani from the Planning and Research Department in the Office of the Auditor General. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members. Good morning, CS and your management team. My name is Mlenga Chama, coming from the Office of Accountant General.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, honorable members of Parliament, and good morning, KAPUTA. My name is Jeffan Siame, coming from the Office of Control of Internal Audit, Ministry of Finance.
Chairperson, good morning once more, and the honorable members of your committee. KAPUTA Town Council, you are welcome to this session. I'm Kazinga Kennedy from Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee. Good morning, CS and the team. My name is Mulombenj Kasanka from the Local Government Service Commission. Thank you.
Clerk's Office.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Keke Makua from Office of the Clerk.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning. Emmanuel Walia from the Office of the Clerk.
Honorable Member for Sakil.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning to you. Morning, honorable members. Morning, Secretariat, our permanent witnesses, CS and your team from KAPUTA. Good morning and welcome to the committee. Kalobo Pavyuma is my name. I represent the good people of Sakile constituency, Kitwe in the Copper Belt. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Dundumwezi.
Chair, I'm grateful. Good morning, KAPUTA Town Council. I'm Singombe, representing the people of Dundumwezi in Kalomo, Southern Province. You're welcome.
Siavonga.
Chairperson, good morning. Good morning, permanent witnesses. KAPUTA Town Council, you're welcome and good morning to you. Good morning, colleagues. My name is Mulunda Darius, Member of Parliament for Siavonga constituency. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. CS, my name is Mishek Mutetwa Nyambose. I represent the wonderful people of Chasefu constituency in eastern part of Zambia, and I'm privileged to chair your committee. With those words, I want to ask you to take us through your memorandum.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, my memorandum has two sections. I'll start with section 1, section A, specific audit findings. Under this section, we have 1, failure to avail loan agreements. Cause of query, management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that the loan agreements were entered into between the applicants and the financial institution in the period under review. The forms were secured at the bank, and upon request, the forms that were received do not include the 18 beneficiaries, leading to the failure to avail on time. Action taken. Management wishes to state that the agreement forms were retrieved from the bank and are available for review. Refer to Appendix 1. The major measure. Management has since devised a strategy to have forms filled out in duplicates as a major measure. 2, failure to avail loan application forms for approved loan beneficiaries. Cause of query, management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that the loan applications were at the bank for the period under review. The forms were secured at the bank, and upon request, the forms that were received did not include the 23 beneficiaries, leading to the failure to avail on time. Action taken. Management wishes to state that the application forms were retrieved from the bank and are available for review. Refer to Appendix 2. The major measure. Management has since devised a strategy to have forms filled out in duplicates as a remedial measure. 3, failure to avail ownership documents for equipment. Cause of query, management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that at the time of audit, most beneficiaries did not submit receipts. Action taken, management wishes to state that loan beneficiaries were invited to a meeting on July 31st, 2024, to be reminded of the necessity of submitting ownership documents to the local authority. Some beneficiaries have since made their submissions. Refer to Appendix 3. The major measure, management will continue engaging loan beneficiaries. 4, failure to pay back loans. Under this query, we have two. The first one is non-performing loans. Cause of query, management acknowledges the auditor's observation on non-performing loans and wishes to state that this arose mainly from economic challenges and financial constraints, limiting beneficiaries' ability to meet repayment obligations. Action taken. Management wishes to state that the loan beneficiaries were invited to a meeting on 31st July 2024 and amounts totaling 29,729 kwacha 96 ingwe have been paid back, and the beneficiaries have also been engaged on the outstanding amounts, and documents are available for verification. Refer to Appendix 4. The major measure, management will continue engaging loan beneficiaries. Number 2, failure to pay installments at the end of the month. Cause of query, management acknowledges the auditor's observation on non-performing loans and wishes to state that this arose mainly from economic challenges and financial constraints, limiting beneficiaries' ability to meet repayment obligations. Action taken. Management wishes to state that loan beneficiaries were invited to a meeting on 31st July 2024 and amounts totaling 1,761,011 kwacha 54 ngwe have been paid back, and beneficiaries have been engaged on the need to make monthly payments, and documents are available for verification. Refer to Appendix 5. The major measure, management will continue engaging loan beneficiaries. 5, payment of grants to ineligible groups, disbursement of youth empowerment to non-youth beneficiaries. Cause of query, management acknowledges auditor's observation on payment of grants to ineligible groups. We wish to state that the majority membership of these clubs were youths, and executive positions were held by youths. Action taken. Management wishes to state that to address this anomaly, orientation was conducted for all the technical appraisal committee members. Refer to Appendix 6. The major measure, management will endeavor to strictly follow the CDF guidelines. Chair, allow me to move to Section B under cross-cutting issues. Appendix 1, budget, funding, and expenditure. Cause of query, management acknowledges the auditor's findings in that the sum of 101,779 kwacha was retained by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development at source for the insurance of motor vehicles. Further, the balance of the 2023 CDF funding against expenditure relates to the 2023 CDF program that were ongoing at the end of 2023. Refer to Appendix 7. Action taken. Management wishes to report that a reconciliation of the 2023 Constituent Development Fund has been done as shown in the table below. Chair, that is a table of the schedule of the reconciliation that was done. The major measure, management will endeavor to engage the ministry, that is the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, on funds retained at source. Appendix 2, total unspent funds. Cause of query, management wishes to state that the unspent funds in the sum of 28,469,344 kwacha 27 ingwe was a result of bank account balance held in the Constituent Development Fund bank account at the end of the year 2023. Action taken. Management wishes to report that a reconciliation of the 2023 CDF performance was undertaken, and the results are as shown in the table below. Refer to Appendix 8. Chair, that's the table there. The major measure, management will ensure that all funds are spent within the financial year. Appendix 2.1, unspent funds community projects. Cause of query, management acknowledges the auditor's findings in that the balance of the 2023 CDF funding against expenditure relates to the 2023 CDF community projects that were ongoing at the end of 2023. Action taken. Management wishes to report that a reconciliation of the 2023 CDF community projects were undertaken. Chair, I request for indulgence on the deletion of the words that follow just after undertaken, which are, and the results are as shown in the table below. I request that these words be deleted from the report. Not a problem. Refer to Appendix 7. The major measure, management to ensure that all funds are spent within the financial year. Appendix 2.2, unspent funds, empowerment grants. Cause of query, management acknowledges auditor's findings over unspent funds at the end of the year. Action taken, management wishes to report that a reconciliation of the 2023 CDF performance was undertaken and the results are shown in the table below. Refer to Appendix 9. The major measure, management to ensure that all funds are spent within the financial year. Appendix 2.3, unspent funds empowerment grants. Cause of query, management acknowledges auditor's findings over unspent funds at the end of the year. Action taken, management wishes to report that a reconciliation of the 2023 CDF performance was undertaken and the results are as shown in the table below. Refer to Appendix 9. The major measure, management to ensure that all funds are spent within the financial year. 2.4, secondary boarding and skills development, bursaries. Cause of query, management acknowledges auditor's findings over unspent funds at the end of the year. Action taken, management wishes to report that a reconciliation of the 2023 CDF performance was undertaken and the results are as shown in the table below. Refer to Appendix 10. The major measure, management to ensure that all funds are spent within the financial year. Appendix 2.5, unspent funds, administrative costs. Cause of query, management acknowledges the auditor's findings over expenditure on administration amount and wishes to state that the unspent funds from the 2022 Constituent Development Fund CDF administration amount in the sum of 429,107 kwacha 55 ingwe, which were carried forward to the following year, 2023. The budgeted CDF administrative cost for 2022 amount was 1,186,995 kwacha 55 ingwe, against which expenditure of 757,825 kwacha was incurred. Action taken. Management wishes to report that a reconciliation of the 2023 CDF administration amount was undertaken. Refer to Appendix 11. The major measure, management will endeavor to strictly adhere to guidelines. Appendix 3, 2022 community projects. Cause of query, management acknowledges auditor's findings and wishes to state that the 9 projects were successfully implemented. Action taken, the projects have been implemented. Refer to Appendix 12. The major measure, management will endeavor to implement projects. Appendix 4, 2023 community projects. Cause of query, management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wishes to state that the affected projects are the construction of Kaungu Clinic in Soko Ward and the construction of maternity annex at Kampala Youth Post. This was a result of the petitions by the aggrieved bidders through Zambia Public Procurement Authority, which in turn halted the procurement process. Further, the construction of Kaungu Health Post was delayed by inaccessibility of the site as a result of the flooding that occurred during the rainy season. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the matter was eventually settled by the Zambia Public Procurement Authority, after which construction works resumed. Chair, again, allow me to change from Appendix 12 to Appendix 13. Instead of Appendix 12, it should be Appendix 13.
Well noted.
The major measure, Chair, management will continue to engage ZPPA on the need to expedite the process on resolving grievances that may arise during the procurement processes. Appendix 5, analysis of performance, youth, women, and community grants. Cause of query, management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wishes to state that 145 applications were received in 2023, with 136 approved, resulting in a 93.8% approval rate. The provincial government office approved 2,138,000 kwacha, while the disbursed amount was 1,255,000 kwacha, including 67,000 kwacha carried forward from 2022 for pending beneficiary payments. Action taken. The funds in question have since been spent. Chair, again here, instead of Appendix 13, supposed to be Appendices 9 and 10. 9 and 10. The major measure, management to ensure that all funds are spent within the financial year. Appendix 8, performance analysis, soft loans. Cause of query, management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that the amount approved by the provincial government officer was 2,908,000 kwacha for 2022 and 3,181,025 kwacha for 2023, with a total disbursement of 6,089,025 kwacha. Action taken. The funds in question have since been spent. Refer to Appendix 4. The major measure, management to ensure that all funds are spent within the financial year. Appendix 9, failure to recover loans. Cause of query, management acknowledges the auditor's observation on non-performing loans and wishes to state that this arose mainly from economic challenges and financial constraints limiting beneficiaries' ability to meet repayment obligations. Action taken. Management wishes to state that loan beneficiaries were invited to a meeting on 31st July 2024 and amounts totaling 29,729 kwacha 96 ingwe have been paid back, and beneficiaries have been engaged on the outstanding amounts, and documents are available for verification. Refer to Appendix 4. Measure, management will continue engaging loan beneficiaries. Appendix 10, secondary boarding and skills development bursaries. Cause of query, management acknowledges auditors' findings over unspent funds at the end of the year. We wish to state that the balance of 5,620,290 kwacha 6 ingwe was valid to community projects for the year 2023 towards the procurement of a bulldozer. The number of verified beneficiaries that completed under secondary school bursaries was 209 and 38 for skills development respectively. Action taken. The funds in question have since been spent. Refer to Appendix 14. The major measure, management to ensure that all funds are spent within the financial year. Chair, I submit.
Thank you very much, Council Secretary, for that presentation. Honorable members, we can now ask questions of clarifications. Or we start with Honorable Mulunda.
Chairperson, I thank you. Chairperson, I'll take you to page 6.
Let's go to page 6.
Page 6, Chairperson, is failure to pay installments at the end of the month by the 50 beneficiaries who got loans. Chairperson, the management response says management acknowledges the auditor's observation on non-performing loans and wishes to state that this arose mainly from the economic challenges and financial constraints, limiting beneficiaries' ability to meet repayment obligations. That's the response from management. Then in the action, Chairperson, they said management wishes to state that the loan beneficiaries were invited to a meeting on July 31st, 2024, and amounts totaling 1,761,011.54 have been paid back, and beneficiaries have been engaged on the need to make monthly payments. Documents are available for verification. Chairperson, where did the management go to the assumption that the beneficiaries are failing to pay because of the economical challenges? Where did they get that? The first question.
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable Member, for that question. Chair, the assumption that the assumption that we got after we had engagements with the beneficiaries, from the way they submitted when we had the meeting in July 2024, and also through our monitoring activities. So from these two activities, that's how we concluded that indeed some beneficiaries, of course not all of them, but the majority of them were actually facing some challenges. So it was, Chair, from these two engagements, that is through our monitoring and evaluation activities, as well as the meetings that we had with these beneficiaries. I submit, Chair.
Follow-up question, Honorable Mulunda.
Yes, Chairperson, I want the CS to categorically give us the evidence that yes, you had an engagement, and arising from that engagement, you realized that there are economic challenges. Apart from this meeting that you had on 31st July 2024, I want the one that caused you to respond in that manner. Do you have documentation that you engaged the communities or the beneficiaries?
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe at this juncture, allow me to invite our Acting Director Planning, maybe to just shed more light on the engagements that we had, and also speaking to the response that we have indicated in our memorandum.
Thank you so much, Chair. Currently, we don't have those proof to give to the committee. The proof are monitoring reports that we normally conduct on a quarterly basis, but we can also submit the same copies through Secretariat.
Honorable Mulunda.
Chairperson, I used the word in my opening remarks on this query. I used the words assumption because basically that is what you have submitted. What you have submitted are assumptions. As far as this committee is concerned, Chairperson, as far as I'm concerned, these people engaged the beneficiaries. First, they had an assumption that the economy was not doing fine. But from your submission here, when I read your submission, action taken report, is the action that you took is to invite the beneficiaries. And when you engage them, they are able to pay more than 1 million kwacha. So where is the assumption of the economy not doing fine? That's what I'm saying. Give us the report that will show that you engaged these people and you realized that the economy was not doing fine. If the economy was not doing fine, even after inviting them, we are not going to raise this kind of man. So you are contradicting yourself.
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry about that. Thank you, Chair. The 1.7 million, I think maybe I stand to be corrected. It is inclusive of those that are performing well. It's an addition of those that are performing well and those that are not performing well. Director Planning, if you can come in and clarify on the 1.7 million.
Before Director comes
in, Council Secretary, if you bring things that are not on your report, you are opening us to other things that we also assume that you are doing or you have done. You here, you did not say this amount, you didn't write here that this amount includes those that are doing fine. Now, since you have said that, can you give us the number of those that are doing fine out of 1.7 and those that are not doing fine? Give us those clubs.
Yes, yes. You heard the question very clear.
Thank you, Chair. Director Planning.
Director Planning.
Thank you, Chair.
CS, you have to switch off your mic once the other person is talking.
We will take you to Appendix 5.
Appendix 5. Let's go to Appendix 5. Appendix 5.
Yes, Chair. You can see from Appendix 5 there.
5A or 5B?
There's 5A. That is 2023 CDF empowerment loans and also 2022 CDF empowerment loans, Chair.
So read for us, what is it saying?
From there you can see the repayment schedules, Chair. For the beneficiaries that are paying, you could see, for example, the first one there, agriculture, from March to May, you could see their Chair that they were repaying, and the gaps there that are showing the months that are the beneficiaries are defaulting. And for those that are indicating that there are no gaps there, are the beneficiaries, Chair, that are paying on time. I submit, Chair.
Honorable Mulunda.
I do not want to engage myself with 2022. I'm looking at 2023. I'm looking at the payments for 2023.
Your mic, Honorable.
I want us to concentrate on the loan beneficiaries for 2023 audit. So what I'm saying is, under 2023 audit, how many are doing fine and how many are not doing fine?
Thank you so much, Chair.
Maybe before you respond, do you realize that the engagement that you are saying you have been having engagements before you invited them has no positive result? If you are to had those engagements, but after you invited them, we have seen the 1.7, whether they are doing fine or they are not doing fine. After you invited them, we have, that is the base of 1.7. So I still go back to before you invited them, because you invited them, I assume you invited them after the audit. You invited these people. Why are you not paying? Because the Auditor General's report or the query from the Auditor General is failing to pay the installments. So after they came through, then you decided to invite all these people, all the beneficiaries, and we saw positive results. We saw people start paying. So my contention here is that the economy is not supposed to be in the picture here, that the economy was not doing fine, no. Because even after inviting them, if they have nothing, they have nothing. You would have recorded 0. But how did you manage to record 1.7?
CS.
Chair, allow me to refer to Appendix 9, failure to recover loans, on page 20.
Appendix?
Appendix 9, on page 20.
The other booklet.
Sorry, the Chair, on the main report on page 20, under cross-cutting issues, now Appendix 9, failure to recover loans. Page 20. No, this one. Tell him I'm eliminating that he can convey the message. Chair, it's the main report on page 20. The title of the query is Appendix 9, failure to recover loans. Then Appendix 4.
Yes.
So, Chair, from the 1.7, the amount that was recovered from the defaulters, from the 4 defaulters that are indicated in the table there, is 29,729 kwacha, 96 ingwe, as indicated in the action taken. Then in the appendix, we have a list of those that defaulted that are appearing in Appendix 4. I submit.
Chairperson.
Honorable Mulunda.
Thank you very much. You said Appendix 4?
Yes, Chair. 4A.
4A.
Appendix 4, now A.
Yes, it's reading 2023 CDF empowerment loans. Is that the right schedule?
Yes, Chair.
Yes. So when did you prepare this schedule? Is it after payments or these ones, this amount the auditors found it when they came through? Was it after the audit or before the audit?
Director Finance.
Thank you, Chair. If you look at our submission, we had a meeting in July 2024. And then if you look at the schedule, from August going forward, there is an improvement there. I submit, Chair.
Yes, Honorable
Chair,
Mulunda.
I have no issue after you engaged them. But my worry was engaging them before that. From the time you engaged, both the accounts and the beneficiaries, you started working together and you started collecting the money. But my contention was you didn't engage these people before the auditors came. You as KAPUTA Department of Planning Because you are supposed, after, immediately you gave these people the monies. If you look at when you engaged them, this was 31st July 2024. But this audit is for 2023. That is 7 months to us without engaging the people that you gave the monies. And the auditors came through and they said, you people, these people are not paying the installments. What's happening? Then you invited them. And the positive result is what we recorded. And since then, things are moving. But before that, in the 6 or 7 months, from your office, from your department, nothing was happening. That is my position. Chairperson, I thank you. I rest my case.
Council management respond to that concern. It's a concern.
Thank you, Chair.
Is the MP on firm ground to make those observations?
Chair, the honourable member is very right. Our engagement was done after the auditor visited our council. But of course, Chair, we had other engagements through our monitoring. But after discovering that our monitoring were not yielding the desired results, we decided to call them for a meeting. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Honourable Member for Sakira. Next question.
Thank you very much, Chair. If you're in down, just may I take the committee to page 7.
We go to page 7.
Payment of grants to ineligible groups. Disbursement of youth empowerment to non-youth beneficiaries. Chair, here, contrary to section 1.1 of the Zambia National Youth Policy, which defines a youth as aged from 15 to 35 years, your witness gave empowerment funds to 14 youth groups amounting to 160,000 kwacha, whose ages were between 37 and 85 years. People were born in August 1951, 1961. Disregarding that, the National Youth Police also going against the CDF Act and the CDF guidelines. So, Chair, my first question here, and they are telling us that most of the leadership or the executive leadership of these youth groups are held by the youths. Majority of them, that's what they are telling us, so that's why they went ahead. So my first question is, what do they take this committee for? When you check the evidence on Appendix 6, most of the evidence submitted to the NRC you can't see anything. Then number 2, I've sampled the Chair about in this evidence which is difficult to analyze. I've sampled about 33 NRCs. So why did you give this Appendix 6? That's where the evidence is, Appendix 6. They've exhibited NRCs and the application forms. You've seen them? Yes. You haven't seen Appendix 6? The one written A, you've seen A, and it's under that. So CSC and your team, your positions are established by law. And the National Youth Police, the CDF Act, the CDF guidelines are meant to control your administrative actions. Why did you disregard the law to go your own way? Chair, for now, they can respond to those 3 questions.
Council Secretary, before you come in, addition?
For just an addition to what my colleague is asking, I want to find out, Chairperson, if they all went through this report before coming in. They saw these things. Thank you, Chairperson.
Another bonus, whether you went through this report before coming to this committee.
Thank you, Chair. Allow me to, first of all, respond to the last question as to whether we went through the report or not. Chair, as management, we went through this report.
And you are satisfied?
Yes, Chair. We are satisfied that what we are submitting is the correct position. Now, on the issue at hand here, Chair, I must admit that a technical evaluation committee overlooked the ages of some applicants within the clubs. For example, the ones that we have attached, if my memory serves right, they're about, is it 9 or 10? From that number, there are 3 that are above the age of 35, meaning they are at the time of application, they were not youths. So there are 3 of them, but the rest, of course, they are youths. So as management, we are submitting that indeed there was an oversight. Thank you, Chair.
Follow?
Chair, at the time of our application, these people were youths. Then they were not youths after disbursement. How can someone who was born in 1951 be a youth in 2023 when they were submitting? How possible? Because you are the ones who have brought this exhibit. I have people who were born in 1961, 1987, 1984, 1960 something. So, are you saying they were youths in 2023 when they were applying?
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. As I've indicated, there was an oversight on the part of management where at the time of application, some applicants were over the age of 35. I submit.
Honorable Mulunda.
Yes, sir. CS, we appreciate that you admit that there was an oversight. So at which point, is it after the Auditor General's office came through, that's when you realized that actually others were above age? And then in your exit meeting with the Office of the Auditor General, did you indicate that this was an oversight, and what was the advice from the auditors? Did they say you can just present it the way it is to the committee, or they said you need to replace this? What was the discussion around that matter? Thank you.
CS? Thank you, Chair. At the time of exit, we had already dispersed the funds. So we equally admitted that there was this oversight. I submit, Chair.
Another follow-up short
one? A short one. Chairperson, your committee allows an addendum. At the point you are discussing with or you are interacting with the Auditor General, why didn't you write an addendum to say, no, there is this query on an eligible youth groups or members of the youth group? There is this addendum that yes, we admitted that there was this, but it was late, so that immediately you came, you would have submitted that on such a query. We admitted to these people, and yes, there is this thing. Other than us going through the NRCs and all those things, and at some point you say at the application, these people were like this, they were youths or something, like my colleague was asking. Why didn't you attach an addendum arising from what you discussed with the Auditor General's office?
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. Our thinking was, as we are responding to the interim management letter, we thought that was a an official engagement with the auditors on our action that has been taken. So we admit that we didn't do an addendum to that effect. Thank you.
Honorable Pavyuma.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, on the action taken, CS has his team, they are telling us that management wish to state that to address this anomaly, orientation was conducted for all technical appraisal committee members. Chair, from this statement, I learned one thing. At a time when the Act was amended and when the guidelines were developed, CS didn't do anything. They just started working without orientation. Because we expected the CS to orient his team before any action on CDF. And this technical appraisal committee is just a team of experts. People are ready, people have been to school, who even know who a youth is. So, CS, with this inability to supervise, inability to adhere to the laws and the laid down procedures, can you demonstrate how CDF will be a game changer in KAPUTA when you are in the forefront spearheading teams to deprive the young people who are supposed to benefit from this youth empowerment fund? Thank you very much, Chair.
Straightforward response.
Chair, as management, I think it's not questionable that it's our responsibility to interpret this policy of the government as it tries to push development to every corner of the country. Now, Chair, when it comes to the issue at hand, Chair, is something that we are admitting that indeed we included some beneficiaries that were not supposed to benefit from this fund on the basis of the age. With regards to the orientation that we did, Chair, as management, if you realize that there are gaps in the way you are managing things, there is no harm to orient officers on their roles. Chair, that's what we did in this case. I submit.
Honorable members.
Chair, maybe also we learn if a youth cooperative or youth group is led by eligible youths and the executive leadership is held by people who are youths, is there any guidance that gives you a go-ahead to allocate empowerment? Is there such guidance anywhere? Maybe we need to learn. I bring that question is because of your submission where you are saying you wish to state that the majority membership of these clubs were youths and the executive positions were held by youths. That's why I ask that question. It's because of what you have submitted. Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. That statement is speaking to the what I would call to the controlling shareholding. We analyzed of course, after realizing the mistake, we checked through the ages and we discovered that the majority were actually youths. But of course, we are not confirming that that is the way the law is. We are just trying to interpret on how this club should be run going forward, especially that the funds were already dispersed. I submit.
Honorable Singombe.
Chair, maybe my question to Shwangandu.
It is KAPUTA.
Oh, sorry, KAPUTA. My apologies. Now at this stage, how do you exclude these overaged members from the responsibility of paying back these loans? Because at a time of engagement, they were there. So how do you isolate them from their responsibility as a local authority? Thank you, Chair.
Yes. Thank you, Chair. Chair, the issue at hand here is to do with the grants. Grants is separated into women, of course, youths, as well as community. So the issue here is to do with the youths club, where some beneficiaries that were above the age of 35 also benefited. But when it comes to the loans, I think there are no such issues. I submit.
Honorable Singombe.
Have they been isolated from these groups, or they are still members?
Chair, they are still members.
I can now also ask questions. Page some of them, just to follow up what my honorable members have asked. Failure to avail loan agreements to auditors during the time of audit. On page 1, Honorable Munda and members, on page 2, KAPUTA Council failed to avail loan agreements to 18 loan applicants. And the reasons that you have advanced is that you don't keep loan agreements that are kept by the bank. You were telling the auditors, and that is why you could not give the loan agreements to the auditors to ascertain the eligibility of the 18 applicants. Council Secretary, why?
Thank you, Chair. As we have indicated in our memorandum, at the time of audit, we didn't submit before the auditors, that is the loan agreement forms. Chair, these forms were with the bank. So our engagements with the bank at the time of audit didn't produce the desired results. So we managed to retrieve them later. Chair, allow me also to submit that the loan agreements that we generated from the beneficiaries were not done in duplicates. We sincerely apologize for that. We only had the one copy that was submitted at the bank. I submit, Chair.
Honorable Mulunda.
Chairperson, this makes me wonder, you know, Director Finance, through UCS, this money belongs to you. This is CDF money, it's not the bank's money, it's your money. Were you comfortable as Director Finance to have your money, documentation concerning your money being kept by somebody else? In all honesty, was that in order? Director Finance, to start with, was that in order?
Council Secretary, maybe Director of Finance through the CS. We're on page 2, Honorable Pavyuma.
Thank you, Chair. It's not in order.
We are live, so put the mic closer to your mouth. Yes, they should be picking you.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. It's not in order to do that.
You are a professional. by your qualification and position. The question from Honorable Mulunda: where do you place yourself if you failed the test of a professional financial advisor to the council by failing to keep document? Where do you place yourself?
Chair, there are lessons which have been learned. That's why in 2024, we were able to have these documents in duplicate.
How many days did you engage the auditors? Or on average, how many days do auditors take to audit your council? On average, council secretary.
Chair, on average, it's about 5 days or so, between 5 and 7 days.
What seriousness do you attach to the audit process that you couldn't go to pick the loan documents from the bank to come and ascertain that these actually are from KAPUTA and these are their applications? You failed to do that. Do you take audit serious?
Chair, we do, and we understand that that is a constitutional requirement that all public institutions are audited annually. We sincerely apologize for having not availed those documents on time.
I like your apology, because nowadays in council the first qualification is to learn how to apologize on straightforward things, when to apologize. Some of these queries could have been dropped. And you take pleasure to have a query, failing to avail a document to say these are the applicants, failing to have custody of accountable documents. And that is normal for you. Another concern is on page 3. No. Let's go to page. It starts from page 4. Failure to avail ownership documents for equipment. Are we there? Page 4. Failure to avail ownership documents for equipment. Guideline number D, subsection 1, subsection 2 of the CDF guidelines guides on the ownership of equipment and machinery bought using the fund, that all equipment and machinery bought using the facility shall be vested in the name of the lender, who is the council, and shall be registered in the name of the local authorities. Contrary to the guideline, equipment such as bakery, block making, and metal fabrication machines procured at a cost of 1,574,400 kwacha were not recognized in the asset register of the council. The treasurer, through the council secretary. Or maybe I start with you, council secretary. Why did you do this?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, when it comes to loans, the beneficiaries that procured the stated items, there was a challenge because the only document that was availed by the applicant was just a receipt. So it was again a challenge after they had received their funds, now to submit those same receipts as proof that they have procured the equipment. So we had that challenge with our own applicants.
Do we have a procurement officer here?
Chair, yes, we have.
I want him to come near the mic. I want his attention. Procurement officer, kindly come next to Honorable Singombe. According to the guidelines, the approved loan applicants who are procuring machinery or anything that is tangible in nature are supposed to be procured by the council. After procurement, the council takes possession of the documents as the owners until the loan is repaid. And the guideline I've just read is very straight and very explicit. Procurement officer, why did you go against the regulation to allow owners or maybe recipients of these machinery to do it on their own, later on failing to give you receipts? Why, procurement officer? Do we have procurement officer?
Thank you very much, Chair. Indeed, Chair, I'm here, sir. Sure. I think basically that is supposed to have been approved by the procurement committee regarding the methods that should be used.
Honorable Mulunda, there is a quick switch off your...
Procurement officer, the chairperson is asking you. We don't need the guidelines from the procurement committee. He is asking you against what you have been given from CDF guidelines. He is asking, why did you go up against this one yourself or your office? Not against the procurement committee, against this one, or maybe in a simpler way. What is the procedure on equipment that is to be procured by you?
He has simplified it. Procurement officer.
Sure, Chair. Thank you very much, Honorable. I think what happened, what transpired was that they were
The question is very clear.
Yes, Chair.
Honorable Munda, repeat the question. Simplify it the way you did. And I want to beg that you pay attention. Honorable Munda.
Procurement officer, are you aware that in terms of equipment, where beneficiaries are asked to get equipment, maybe it's a motorbike, maybe it's a tractor, are you aware that you are supposed to take possession of the equipment and the documentation for that?
I am aware, Chair.
You are aware of that?
Yes.
So in this situation, in this case that we are looking at, is that what you did?
No, Chair, I must say no, because the money was channeled to the beneficiaries directly. I think that should have been.
We are not talking about the money. Yes, the money can go to the beneficiary. But I'm asking, chairperson wants to know whether the documents, you got the documents and put them in your register. Here is the guideline from CDF. Because CDF is the one that is guiding you, which the chairperson ably quoted. We're not talking about the money.
Procurement officer.
Sure, Chair. The recipients of machinery, Chair, the receiving is done by the stores department in terms of receiving the material.
Honorable Singombe.
Thank you very much, Chair. Director, would you be in a position to tell me any single vehicle that were bought under CDF which were not labeled where it's supposed to belong to? Any single vehicle under CDF.
That's a good one. Director Finance, Procurement Officer, help us that question.
Sure, maybe I'll refer it to engineering, Director Engineering.
Director Engineering. You have been quiet. We want your attention.
Yes, thank you, Chair. All the equipment, if they are labeled, particularly for the council, under CDF, of course, we take position. We take responsibility as ourselves and the ownership.
Speak up. You are live on TV and the radio.
All the ownership, if it means it has been blended, we take ownership, us as the council, to do it as a chair.
So you are saying that the local authority takes ownership. So in this situation, Chair, it means these were not theirs because you did not take possession of them. And this is a query. I think the honest way and the humble way is to simply say, like you've always said, you apologize for this oversight than dragging a matter which is very clear.
Yes, Honorable Mulunda.
Thank you very much. I'm failing to understand why our procurement officer is not responding to the questions that he asked to him. You have heard the director engineering, although it's unnecessary to drag him into this, because what we are looking at is the procurement office, procurement department. So the simple thing, like he has responded, that I take responsibility and label those things that are procured. Now, in your case, procurement officer, we are asking these beneficiaries, they have the equipment procured by you. So what is difficulty from getting the documents, even if you send the money to them, but what is it that will show from you as procurement entity or department that will show that you own these machinery or the things that have been procured? What are you going to show?
Honorable Pavima, all the same?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, go ahead.
Chair, me, I'm thinking beyond what is put here. The catchword here is that this equipment worth 1,574,400.
Take note of the amount.
We are not recognized even before documentation comes. In the asset register, they were not recognized in the asset register. So, my first question would be, who are these beneficiaries? Are you the owners of these cooperatives or what? Then what was the intention of trying to expunge these on the asset register of the council? What was the intention? Because even if they didn't avail the documents, at least they should have been there in the asset register of the council. So what was the intention of just letting it go like that? Then the director finance, I think, where is the director finance? Your preview to the CDF Act and the guidelines, why did you channel the funds directly to the beneficiaries instead of you and your counterpart, the procurement officer, working together so that you procure this equipment, then at a later stage you hand over to the beneficiaries? Why didn't you do that when you are privy to the laid down procedures? Thank you, Chair.
You have nailed it. DF.
Thank you, Chair. As advised, we erred on this one, and we wish to apologize.
Another apology.
It's a lesson which we've learned going forward.
I'm very happy. You just come, get allowances to come and apologize. I'm not trying to demean you. This is really touching. And I'm wondering whether you are being supervised that side in KAPUTA. You don't need even supervision. If you have fear or regard for public regulation, the guideline is very clear, CS. All assets under CDF are supposed to be procured by yourselves. And you do a handover of the equipment, keeping the documents and entering it in the asset register. Very clear. But this one is deliberate. We want to know who are the beneficiaries of this. And you see, you are very casual, CS. Can we go to, let's read the action taken. Council Secretary, I want you to read action taken.
Thank you, Chair. Action taken. Management wishes to state that loan beneficiaries were invited to a meeting on July 31st, 2024, to be reminded of the necessity of submitting ownership documents to the local authority. Some beneficiaries have since made their submissions.
That is the catch one. some beneficiaries have, some have not. And yet this is a requirement. Procurement, you are at fault. You just follow these guidelines and you have a procurement committee. You are guided. If there is one institution among so many that you don't need to scratch your head in what to do the next day, is a council. Everything, even reporting for work, you are guided. What time? If you are dealing with procurement of everything, there is always a guide from the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development. How many meetings of the CDF committee? When to give this? And what type of assets are supposed to be procured? But in KAPUTA, you just transfer direct into their accounts, wherever, whatever they buy. And some of them could have bought equipments which they never applied for. That's why I want to appeal to auditors on this particular matter. Take interest, go and ascertain whether these equipment that they applied for were actually bought. 1,574,400 kwacha. Just on this one, I will allow you to. Yeah.
I want you to marry it as you continue.
Yes, my chair.
As you continue, sir. Maybe there are no documentation because the equipments were not bought. Maybe the money came back to the council.
Correct.
So you can continue, sir.
Yes. So all these assumptions, and we are looking at you people, qualified. I don't want to, competence is another issue, but you are qualified for those positions. You do things contrary to the regulation. And this query could not have arisen if you have regard and fear for public resources and regulation. But here you can do whatever you feel. Here in KAPUTA, no, this one is not necessary. Just give them direct. Where on earth are you running a system like that? Council Secretary. Auditors, can you make a follow-up? And I want all these assets that were applied before, no change, they should be seen and entered in the register. The next one, as I wind up. The issue of loans were mentioned by very well tackled by honorable members. The Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Honorable Sialubalo, has emphasized all loans that were given should be recovered. He just returned from your province. And he has said whatever means, Council Secretary, I'm speaking to you and the DF and the planners, if you have the planners here. Whatever means, that is the catchword that you use, monies should be recovered. Those people you are favoring who are defaulting, and some of them who got machinery, because these machineries are not registered, that's why they cannot pay. If these machineries were registered under the council, these people could be paying. Because you have just blessed them, they are keeping ownership and the machinery. They have no regard to pay. But the minister has guided, and if you are going to go against the guidance of the minister, failing to recover the loans, it's better you walk out from local government. Because this matter started with the president, now the minister, is this committee. Go and recover from whoever who got monies. And don't say the bank, it is you. Honorable Munda guided you. You are the one who know these people. So you go and collect these loans. The other one is on page 16. Let's go to page 16. Community projects 2022. these were brought forward from 2022, 9 projects, and you implemented all the 9 projects. I want you, Director Engineering, to show us the names of these projects. Anywhere, so that we can appreciate the 9 projects. Just a listing and maybe the pictures you can help us so that we know which 9 projects the people of KAPUTA want to know, those which were 2022. They want to appreciate. We don't just say no, we have implemented 9. We want to see the health post so that we appreciate things are moving in KAPUTA, just for our benefit.
Yeah. Chair, through the CS, the 9 projects which were implemented, there are 8 pieces of earth-moving equipment.
Okay.
And then the 9th one was a blown-off roof. Well, that is 1x2.
Okay.
For Watema.
Those are 2022.
Yes.
The last one is 2023 community projects.
Yes, sir.
You had approved the 5. You implemented the 3. Work in progress 0. Outstanding 2. Would you show us the 5 projects, the implemented ones, their pictures, completion certificates, and those outstanding at which stage? These are 2023. You are saying this 2025, they're still outstanding. Who are the contractors? Show us the list, the pictures, and those still outstanding. When I was perusing through, I saw that you have only attached a handover certificate for 1 and the completion certificates for 2. Where are the other attachments? I haven't seen any documentation to show us the pictures of the wonderful projects that you have done. Would you help this committee?
Yes, sir. For 2023, the completed projects, Chair should admit we didn't include the one completed, but I gave the status report on the ones which are under implementation.
What are their names?
Kaungu.
What page is that? So to move with you.
Chair, that is Appendix 13.
Yes.
That's where there are 2 projects which are under implementation, the ones which were delayed. But for the the completed one, Chair should admit we didn't include the pictures and handover reports as a picture.
Where, just take us to Appendix 13.
13C, Chair.
Okay. I also noted, and I want to thank you, Council Secretary, you had charged you had taken disciplinary action against a procurement officer. Is he the one?
Yes, Chair, he's the one.
Yeah, we can see. Is indeed an issue. You took action. You charged him for misleading the procurement committee and having misguided himself on certain procurement issues where at one point even the contractor appealed. That was good for you. We commend you, Council Secretary. But I'm wondering why you did not charge the Director of Finance, him and the procurement officer, for failing to procure assets that are supposed to be registered. Because that is serious omission. The guidelines are very straight. And auditors raised a flag. Why didn't you charge the other persons? You charged only the procurement officer on this matter.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, as a Council Secretary, I think I didn't realize that that also affected the performance of the Director of Finance. So I just concentrated on the procurement officer. Since the issue was to do with procurement.
As I said, don't give room for all the officers who are failing their duty. Why I included the Director of Finance? Because he's the final person to ensure, even the auditor, to ensure that whatever you are doing, guidelines and instructions from government are followed. Procurement, then the papers go to finance. Finance, who should ascertain. Why are we sending direct into the accounts of the recipients when the guideline is saying we should procure? Even when the procurement officer made these recommendations, the auditor, he should have said, no. Why not procure direct? I don't want to boast about my council. Equipment they buy and they just hand over. Then the possession of documents is with the council. So from procurement recommendation, it should be going to finance. Finance, the auditor should have noticed. So this is why when I read through, I said here, I hope the procurement and any erring officer, director engineering, the success of this CDF, as Honorable Pavuma said, if we are going to indeed live by the people's belief that CDF is a game changer, it's all dependent on you officers. The top leadership have released the money. The council, the MP and the CDF committee have made recommendations of which projects. Everything now is you officers. Each one plays a part. When you hear of certain councils which are doing very well, it's because of the officers. The government has never failed. One thing that I've learned also is that when the government says you have the money is sitting in your account. This money is for the chief's palace. And you know there are challenges. I've just used that example. Let me not use chief's palace. The money is for RIA. I'll use RIA. Money is for RIA, 1 million sitting there. You already made a decision. You are keeping that money, 1 million, when you have outstanding payments to make. And you are aware that the government has never failed, they always release the money. Why not use the 1 million to pay the contractors so that projects are moving? When the other money comes, then you place where the RIA is when the time comes. But there's a tendency in the councils, you keep the money. No, this money is already committed. When the Ministry of Local Government is releasing money, they're not releasing money for RIA, for desks, they're releasing CDF money. All these are CDF money. Are you getting my point, Council Secretary and your team?
Yes, Chair.
So money should be spent. That is my conclusion. I want to appeal to all of you. Go and put your house in order. Do the correct things. These queries could have been avoided. These queries could have been avoided. But you don't mind when auditors come, you don't pay attention. So your assessment is how you implement CDF projects. Those technical things they assess you for, qualifications and what, that is nothing. How you are managing resources. Are you the right persons to manage these resources on behalf of government? The people of KAPUTA are very expectant. Next time when you come, can you show us project by project picture? This is what we have done. This is what is the work in progress. This is outstanding at this stage. So with that said, I would like to withdraw the immunity that was earlier conferred on you. You go back, go and put your house in order. You are severely reprimanded. Go and put your house in order. Procurement. I've directed the auditors. We want to see the 1,400,000, those assets should be in your possession within a shortest period of time. DF, engineer, planners, procurement, go and take possession. Don't pick the equipment. Go and get the documents and add in your asset register. Show the auditors. Then we know that we are safe. With that said, I would like to withdraw the immunity. From now on, you are on your own. I wish you well as you go back to KAPUTA. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much. You are still watching Parliament television. The only station dedicated to bringing Parliament closer to you. Now, that was KAPUTA Town Council appearing before the Committee on Local Government Accounts. The committee is considering the report of the Auditor General on the Constituency Development Fund for the financial year ended at 31st December 2023. So we do expect the committee to receive one more submission from Chilubi Town Council. And of course, we urge you to stay glued on Parliament television, as well as for those following us on our official Facebook page, that's the National Assembly of Zambia. Stay glued to that page so that we can follow the proceedings right here. My name is Joe Akatama. We've been around for the morning session, and of course, I'll be leaving you in the capable hands of my colleague Claudette Jong Sindaza, who will take it over from me till evening, when the committee will be done with the last witness. And on behalf of my two sign language interpreters, Chola Kaoma and Joseph Manda, have a pleasant viewing. Good afternoon.
Zambia. Even saying the word is a multi-sensory experience. It somehow captures something of the essence of this special place in the warm heart of southern Africa. Take in the mighty Zambezi River, the majestic Victoria Falls that form Zambia's natural southern border, and the national parks overflowing with wildlife. Immerse yourself in the fast-growing towns and cities, teeming with history, light, and life. Then visit the vast lakes that seem to touch the stars and engage with a plethora of different ethnic groups, cultures, and languages. Together, they make up the intricately woven fabric of this remarkable country. To visit Zambia is to begin a love affair that will never be exhausted, and unlike any that you have ever experienced before. For all the superlatives that man has used in his attempts to describe Victoria Falls, none are able to do this incredible natural wonder justice. You have to see it for yourself. It is a truly awe-inspiring experience. Livingston, once Zambia's capital, and the Zambian side of the falls have become a mecca for discerning adventure tourists. Peer into the abyss from Devil's Pool at the edge of the falls. Career down the powerful rapids from Batoka Gorge in a whitewater raft. Bungee jump from the historic Victoria Falls Bridge. Or fly over the falls on a flight of angels. Whatever activity you choose, you'll be left with a renewed appreciation for the sheer might of nature. Kafue National Park is amongst the biggest in Africa and is home to more than 130 species of mammal and more than 400 bird species. Enjoy the wildlife from a different perspective on a boat cruise or a canoeing or walking safari. For sheer density of game, South Luangwa National Park is second to none. It certainly lives up to its nickname as the Valley of the Leopard. The stunning Liuwa Plains play host to the world's second-largest wildebeest migration and boast some of the most striking vistas you will see anywhere in Africa. At Kasanka National Park, you can view the largest mammal migration in the world when each November, literally millions of fruit bats cover the skyline as the sun sets. Zambia's bodies of water are as abundant as its wildlife. Although it is landlocked, this country has more water than any other in Africa. There are the long, meandering rivers, some of which are interspersed by waterfalls that are only narrowly surpassed by Vic Falls.